This has been something that I've kind of kept pretty private. Obviously, things have leaked, which we'll get on to later, but I've kept it private since around March 2024. My dearly departed friend, DocOnTheRadio. So I'm just gonna get straight into this. You know who DocOnTheRadio is? He's a live streamer within the community. We obviously know who DocOnTheRadio is. He hosts a Spurgler. What's been going on? What's that intro all about, Toastify? DocOnTheRadio manifesto. From mid-2021 to early 2024, DocOnTheRadio was a small but somewhat known streamer inside the commentary community. He's most well known for his show Spurgalert, in which he documented the ongoing of smaller figures and lolcows within commentary and their genre. He'd also bring them on and regularly hosted larger YouTubers in the community, either for debate or just for having fun on gaming streams. In early 2022, I started watching Doc as he streamed. In mid-2022, after my first couple of call-ins, Doc accepted me as a co-host for a show and gave me the role. I would go on to co-host the show a number of times, sometimes with just me and him, but mostly with me, Doc, and other co-hosts. Up until around March 2024, I valued my friendship with Doc. We mostly spoke online and on the air, but we would have conversations off the air as well from time to time. I appreciated that he gave me a platform, even if it was just a co-host role, as it was a lot of fun, and it made me friends with people inside the community who I still talk with to this day. For fuck's sake, when he initially left streaming in April 2023, I sent him a $100 donation as a gift to send him off. In March 2024, something was revealed to me that forever tarnished my friendship with Doc, and subsequently his friendships with everyone else he knew. The purpose of this document is to publish what exactly happened, who we knew behind the scenes, and why I'm now talking about this well over a year after I first learnt of it. As mentioned previously, Doc initially left YouTube in April 2023 in order to pursue education. However, he would make a return in September of that year to continue streaming, albeit sporadically. I'd make a few call-ins and watch his show from time to time. I even appreciated that he reviewed my Elusive video on stream, but I was mostly busy with other stuff. Doc would announce he was leaving again in early 2024, and this time would be far more impactful, as he was actually leaving for 2 years to focus on education in a much more fulfilling way. This wasn't a shock to anyone. Doc had been publicly stating that he wasn't going to be back for long from the moment he started streaming again. By the time he would have been back, it's hard to say whether there would even be a community to come back to. As the day of Doc's last stream approached, I was thinking about my second ever call-in to a show. I don't have the specific stream, but from my DMs with Doc, it seemed to have happened on the 29th of May 2022, as he'd offered me the week prior to come back on his show. As most of Doc's co-hosts know, Spurgalert wasn't really a set show where everyone clocked in and then clocked out. If you're a Spurgalert co-host or even a friend of Doc's, you know that after the show people would head in and they just chill for ages, and sometimes they'd talk for a bit, sometimes they'd play games with each other, sometimes they'd, I don't know, just talk VC. And it was in one of those post-show VCs that I remember something really strange. The VC consisted of myself, 2 previous co-hosts of Doc's show who've asked to remain private, although one of them has since renounced their privacy, that being Smaggle, and Doc himself. It was during this call that the topic of someone named Cat or Kitty came up, and as a relatively new viewer of his streams, I didn't know what that was about. I remember that Doc explained to me that some years ago, he dated Cat when she was 13, and he was 17/18, but stressed it was a purely romantic relationship. I remember hearing about that and saying it was fucked up, and then Doc explained that he'd sorted out stuff years ago, and he didn't see himself as a victim. He then made a passing comment about how he was lucky that Salvo Pancakes, a streamer in the community, hadn't looked into the clip of it. The clip in question was posted to Commentary Aids on July 4th, 2022, taken from a now deleted stream.
Yo, Kitty, you're on the air.
Whoa. Okay.
It's Kitty, dude.
Who the fuck is Kitty? Is that your girlfriend,
That's
Doc?
cringe.
She's a Discord kitty. I hate her.
You're like my moderator
Just
back
call
in
me-
like.
call me Cat.
You're like my mod back like 3 years ago in my old server, weren't you?
Dude, we've known each other since like 2017. I was 13 and you were like 17.
Whoa!
Buying something? Hold up.
Hold on, Kitty.
No,
Kitty.
wait.
I gotta ask you
No
a
Discord.
question.
Her name is
Can you have
Kitty.
that? Hold on. I gotta ask you-
How old are you now?
I'm gonna be 18. I'm 17 right now. I'm gonna be 18 in
Oh,
June.
thank God. Okay, I thought I was about to get like absolutely
Wait.
destroyed.
Good job, Doc. You waited until they were legal.
Wait, oh no, I'm making fucking extra
Exactly.
jokes about minors. Oh no. I'm screwed.
For the record, I have never shown my penis on Discord.
what?
It's always on
What
Skype.
are you talking about?
Wait a second.
Is Doc gonna be the next one exposed on a twit longer? They got
Yeah.
nothing on me. There's nothing on me.
I can expose Doc.
Hold on, we literally just got something on you.
Your kitten
That's
literally just
Kitty.
joined.
No, the thing got on him.
Who joined
No,
when
no,
you was-
no.
Who,
So-
who you knew when she was 13.
I'm not a pedophile.
Hold on.
In this clip, you can hear Kitty calling to the server. It's well known, by the way, that the co-host of Doc's current server has had a long history where he previously went into different different names and had different purposes. In this clip, Kitty remarks on their friendship while she was a mod for his server, and how they knew each other when Doc was 17 and Kitty was 13. The rest of the clip is mostly Doc and the rest of the people on the call joking about this friendship and adding a pedophile joke undertone to it. Doc also quickly jumps to mention that he's never sent any sexual pictures online. My vivid memory of my conversation with Doc was then washed away for the next few months. In hindsight, it's hard to believe, but by the time I was on Doc's streams, it was around 1 to 2 AM in my time. That was probably why I never made a big deal of it at the time. So when I started to remember it again, memories triggered by reminiscing about the first few times I spoke to Doc, I was both concerned and confused. I even began doubting myself, especially when I went to both of Doc's former co-hosts who I remember being in the call with. When I talked to them, they genuinely had no recollection of this ever happened. I felt like I was going crazy, as it was fuzzy to even remember if they were definitely in the call or not. But deep in my mind, I was sure this had happened, so to try and settle my concern once for all, I decided to message Doc. By this point, he had already quit streaming. On the 1st of March 2024, I messaged Doc asking for a call. He only responded to me about 4 AM and asked for a text explanation. Yo, you still there? I'm good now. Might want to tell me over text. My schedule is still generally busy. So, a couple of weeks ago, when you announced you were leaving, and I was thinking about the old days when I first popped on Spurg Alert, a memory came into my mind. It was of us chilling in the VC. Me, you, blank, and blank. And we were talking about some shit. During our conversation, the topic of someone called Cat/Kitty came up, and I didn't know what that was about. So you explained to me that Cat was a girl you dated some years ago, and that you were 17/18, and she was 13 at the time. You said it was a purely romantic relationship. I remember hearing about that and saying, like, isn't that fucked up? And you explained to me that you and Cat sorted that stuff out ages ago, and she didn't see herself as a victim of you, so that rationalized it for me and I moved on. You then made a passing comment about how you were lucky that Salvo didn't look into a commentary aids clip where Cat called in. My main question is, what's up with that? How much of that is true? Doc's response read as follows. So I edited the girl when I was 17 and she was 30. Nothing sexual ever happened, and the relationship ended officially after I turned 18. I've said that I would never do that again, and it was stupid for me to do that. How long was the relationship? If I remember correctly, it was only for a few months, like 4 to 6 maybe, but that might be wrong, that's based on memory. She turned 14 at some point, I believe. I see. I don't know, man. I don't know why I suppressed this thought for ages, but that really doesn't sit right with me. Even if you were technically both minors, that still feels icky. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know what else to tell you, lol. Yeah, I understand. So you broke up after you turned 18. Why so? Because that's when I realized it was messed up. It was so long ago, but nothing ever came from that. Yeah, I understand. If you'd like to talk more about it later, that's fine. I need to go now. Alright, no worries. Give me some time to collect my thoughts on this. Let me know when you're back, preferably call if you're free. Probably will be in 3 hours, we'll be out of the house for a bit. Or tomorrow then? Or through DMs, I guess? Okay, I can call maybe real quick. Right now? Yeah. Alright, good. I'm ready. To reassure everyone these DMs are indeed real, I'll now be leaking part of the call with Doc. Just to be completely clear, our call was 10 minutes, as is the full recording. What has been cut out of the call is the other end of it, basically just private stuff, or me trying to reason with Doc's logic and say that he was fine, attempting to get any new information out of him. However, if Doc wishes to contest any issues with this call, I'll be happy to leak more of it. How much time do you have? I'll just run...
I only have like 30 minutes.
30 minutes, I'll run through them as much as I can. Well, I guess I just have a few questions about the specifics of what happened here. So do you remember what you two were like talking about before, like you met? Like, how did you meet? I guess that's my first question.
So I believe we met through a Discord server a long time ago. I don't remember which one it was, but it might have been a friend, friend's server, but he was a YouTuber. Yeah, but I don't remember what we were talking about before. I think we were talking about like IRL stuff. Mm-hmm. It was like chatting, get to know each other.
Yeah.
But I don't remember exactly what details they were talking about. If I could probably find their account and look through the DMs if you really care that much.
I mean, I've already found like her account by looking through and stuff. Because obviously, I've been not to be like a fucking weird about this, but like I have been kind of, I guess, concerned.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll just be honest. Like, yeah, I obviously wouldn't do that again. The relationship never continued past when I was 18.
I wanted to ask about that actually. So when you mean that, do you mean like you broke it off on your birthday, or was it before that? Was it after? Because you said like officially, and I was like, what does that mean? You know?
So if I recall correctly, we both agreed that the relationship would be officially over when I turned 18. So yeah, the birthday.
So you like agreed?
Yeah, we agreed. Yeah, there was an agreement. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was okay. If I remember correctly, it was probably over voice call. But I mean, I could try to look back.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't know, because you told me like you were breaking it. I mean, I guess I asked you. This is more of like I don't know. This is more of a question. But like you said, like you were like. Breaking it off after you stopped dating, and I was like, why would you do it at 18? That seems, because it seems kind of convenient, obviously, to be like, well, I'm 18 now, ooh, down to fucking, because it's like if anything, like legal.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like that. I mean, that was the main reason. Was because, you know, legality. I didn't want to have to deal with that. But
like, you were, like, romantically interested in her. Like, that was, like, you guys are in love, or...
I mean, it wasn't, like, romantic. It was more, like, friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I had no interest in, like, pursuing past... Like, I guess you could say romantic. I guess. I wouldn't, like, disagree with that. Because, like, obviously, like, e-dating, you know, right?
Yeah.
But obviously I didn't go past that.
Okay.
Because obviously that would be, like, illegal. I 100% condemn what I did. Like, that's morally wrong. I would never do that again.
Yeah.
That's why I've said publicly before, like, you know, like, I've done e-dating before in the past, and I would never do it again.
No, I understand. And obviously, like,
Yeah,
no worries. Obviously, I'm assuming, like, you knew her, like, her age the entire time. There wasn't, like, she wasn't, like, lying or anything.
Oh, sorry, can you repeat that again?
Like, I assume, like, you knew her age the entire time. Like, she wasn't lying at any stage.
Yeah, she wasn't lying.
And, obviously you didn't want to, like, cross any lines past, like, romantic or even, like, friendly. So there wasn't, like, an intention to do anything beyond that, like, or meeting up or anything.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No.
If that was brought up, would you just be like, nope, shut it down?
Yes, that would be a shutdown immediately, because I never asked nor said anything.
Okay.
Just absolutely not.
Yeah, and there's nothing sexual at all in those DMs?
No.
None of the fucking e-sex, ERP?
No.
H words. I mean, okay,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess
There might have been, like, cringe stuff, but nothing related to, like, stuff.
What do you mean by, like, as in, like, memes and shit?
Yeah. There's no, like, explicitly, like, you should do this.
Oh,
or, like,
okay.
You should do that. Yeah.
But it is kind of like I love you, that kind of stuff.
Maybe not like that, but, like, actually, no, probably. I mean, I have to go look back exactly, but yeah, probably it's like that.
Okay, no worries. I was just thinking, because I was like looking into this stuff, and then, like, obviously she's been on the server, like, past messages and stuff, and I know, like, this server was created when she was, like, 15, but she had, like, a few sexual comments, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, if you're saying it, like, I don't know.
Nothing. Yeah, no, nothing happened beyond what I told you in this call. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Obviously, as I mentioned before, that's where the recording ends. Obviously, there are 4 more minutes of that recording, but I've already explained that before. I've mostly cut those up because I thought it, like, I was trying to, like, say, oh, but it's fine, Doc, trying to, like, see if we could get any more information, but I realized, obviously, including that in would make me look fucking dumb, so I decided to leave it out. Coming back to the document. Based on the details that Doc has given me, I felt pretty weird about this relationship. I appreciate that he was incredibly forthcoming with the details of the relationship, but that didn't significantly change anything for me. Personally, I found it incredibly strange, and despite the fact this happened back in 2018, I would never be fine with a 17-year-old dating a 13-year-old. Though both ages are legally minors, I believe the age gap between them is too inappropriate to morally continue, even in an alleged romantic context. I also found it very telling that Doc only broke up with a girl on his 18th birthday, and quite literally stated his motivation was because of legality. It showed me that Doc was still romantically interested in her, and only broke up with her because he reached an age where he would be held to a harsher standard. Who knew? After having this call, I went to the 2 other former co-hosts that I've mentioned previously, and we went over the call, later discussing how to handle this properly. So I want to be as clear as I can on the knowledge of the situation, and my motivations behind keeping it private until now. I want to make this very clear. No one knew of this until I asked Doc. None of his closest co-hosts or YouTubers he was affiliated with knew of what happened, and only found out when I got the information from Doc and informed them. Those in the clip where Kitty calls in presumed the whole thing to be a joke, much like the audience had perceived it. I also asked people who I told to specifically keep this information private. There are a few reasons why I kept this private for so long. For one, Kitty, the supposed victim of the situation, was pretty much unreachable, and thus I was completely in the dark about whether I should have even released the information. There were questions about whether she would even want something like this out there, and attention brought to her. Over the time, however, this has eroded away due to her total inactivity. At this point, I believe she left the account entirely, and I'm confident something like this will not be traced back to her. And when I looked over at what putting the information out there would do, the cons outweighed the pros. Doc wasn't going to be active anymore for a long time, it was doubted whether he would even come back years later, so to me there wasn't any chance of a present threat online. This information was thus intended to be released in the event that he came back, something which probably won't happen now. All I would do if I went straight off the bat was possibly harm the victim and the people who used to know him and had no idea that he did this. It was only until my hand was recently forced. Why now? In around mid-January of 2025, YouTuber Aiden Projects went live on a now deleted gaming stream. In said stream, we reviewed the commentary aids clip with Doc and Kitty, and leaked that Doc and Kitty had actually dated, something that wasn't public information until then, and wasn't inferred as such if it wasn't for Aiden. Though the stream was made private, word was still getting around the community. I was only alerted to it in the first place from people inside the chat of the streamer Dickers. True, now that Aiden dropped the Doc of dating a minor. Wait, what? When did he drop this? He dropped it in some shitter gaming stream. Bruh. Yeah, it was a few days ago. He said Doc was 17 and dated a 13/14-year-old that was his mod. Jamie, your wording implied it's still going, lol. I was gonna DM you, Toastify, but you don't have DMs open. This is not the first time Aiden has alluded to this leak, despite me asking him not to publish it or allude to it in any way publicly. If you're ever wondering why he suddenly blurted out a line about Doc's kittens in the middle of a stream with AugieRFC, now you know.
He's sleep streaming, or he's doing the thing like e-daters do, where they do the sleep calls. He's doing that on the air in front of 3,000 people.
Like Doc and his kitten?
Who?
Oh shit. And who? What?
What?
Where? When?
What did you say, Aiden? Okay, anyway.
This is one of the reasons that I now opted to go public. I never wanted this to go public unless Doc returned, but these leaks present an entirely new issue, creating rumors that may be spun into a completely fabricated narrative. At that point, the truth would be diluted, and innocent people would have gotten fucked over by speculation that this was some sort of well-kept commentary secret, a la French Girl. As someone who got all the information from the first place and brought it forward, and told people I wanted to be private until further notice, I felt as if it was my responsibility to break the story. Doing so at the wrong time, or not at all in some cases, would have been my fault entirely for how people would have been smeared. Thankfully, I was helped out by a former associate of Doc's, who was also requested to remain anonymous. I was talking to him in mid-January 2025, and I previously told this person of what happened. It was during this call that they talked about their last interaction with Doc, a joke asking him to come back. Doc had replied with a succinct no. Keep in mind, these two talked more than me and Doc did, so for Doc to give this very shut-in response signifies something to us. To add to that, this interaction was only days after my call with Doc. This signified to me that Doc was probably never coming back because of our confrontation, which certainly changed things, as I was anticipating to only release this information when he came back. Doc, please come back. No. And now we're here. I'll end off by clarifying this is not a document to call for cancellation, or even to seek justice. My contact with the minor of this entire situation has been non-existent, and besides, this is all about a YouTube channel with 4,000 subscribers. This is not a crusade I want to lead, nor is it one that should be led. The purpose of this is to make this as public information, so that people are fully clear on what happened, how it happened, and who knew. Again, I'm all too familiar with how disparate leaks and rumours can so quickly spiral into completely fabricated narratives that are so far from the truth, hence why we're now here. Whether you now hate Doc or don't care about what he did isn't really my concern. I wanted to make this to make my stance clear that I've not been friends with Doc since March 2024 and will likely never be. Although I don't want to speak on anyone else's behalf, most of the people I've told behind the scenes share a similar sentiment. Of course though, they are free to come out with how they feel in their own time.